What exactly is this campaign all about then, Mrs. Buckley?
Well, originally this site was going to be the site for a new hospital, and in 2010 the funding fell through for that. But we did manage to get all the day facilities such as physio and occupational therapy on the Oak Park Clinic, which is opposite just where I'm standing now. But unfortunately that meant that we didn't have the elderly beds. And a very good plan was thought through to have a nursing home on this site with about 80 old people's beds, and 45 of those would be used by the NHS and Hampshire County Council to stop admission to hospital, and also as step-down beds when people needed to come out of hospital but weren't ready to go home, and they would have come here for 6 weeks of what we call reablement to get them strong enough to go home. Unfortunately, there's a government policy on rent levels, and the other wonderful thing we were going to have on this site was 90 extra care housing flats, which would have been developed by a housing association in conjunction with the organisation who was going to develop the nursing home. But because of government policies on rent levels, what they called the local rent allowance, they will not allow housing benefit on rents above a certain level. And there's a set level for this area in Hampshire and for Havant.
So, how do you see this? How do you see this developing? And this, obviously, this land is laying empty. You're still waiting for something to happen. What's the next stage?
Well, one of the reasons I've stood for Parliament was to draw attention to this. I found that the whole issue seemed to have been buried. There was no information coming out either from local councillors or for the MP. Nobody seems to be pressing for it or informing the public about the problems here. So I've stood for election. I've given information in my leaflet to the public to give a better understanding of what's available here. And I think my main point is that this will help everybody, not just the older people. It will help those many people at the moment who can't get a bed in QA because of bed blocking. 45 beds is a lot of beds and can make a huge difference. And QA is blamed all the time for bed blocking, and actually this isn't their fault. The beds here were part of the original plan when QA was remodelled, and we must really press and get this work on site as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.